The sun on Cora 7 was not like the sun back on Earth. It was smaller, colder, and it gave the sky a strange purple color that Una still could not get used to. She had been on this planet for 3 months now, and every morning she woke up feeling like she was living inside a dream. Una was a geologist. Her job was to study the rocks and soil of this new world. The company that sent her here wanted to know if they could mine this planet. They wanted to know if there was anything valuable under the ground. So every day, Una would put on her boots, grab her tools, and walk into the forest to collect samples. Today was no different. She packed her bag with small containers, a hammer, and a scanner. She also carried a knife on her belt, not because she expected trouble, but because her brother Taiho had made her promise to always carry it. "You never know what is out there," he had told her before she left Earth. "New planet means new dangers." Taiho was always worried about her. He was her older brother by 5 years, and he had spent 10 years in the military before retiring. Now he worked as a security consultant, and when he heard that Una was going to Cora 7, he pulled every string he could to get assigned to the same mission. He was here now at the base, probably checking the perimeter cameras for the 100th time. Una smiled as she thought about him. He was too protective, but she loved him for it. The forest of Cora 7 was thick and green. The trees were tall, much taller than any trees on Earth. Their leaves were wide and flat, and they blocked most of the light from above. Walking through the forest felt like walking through a tunnel made of plants. Una followed the same path she had taken many times before. She knew this area well. There was a rock formation about 2 kilometers from the base, and she wanted to get more samples from there. The rocks in that area had shown interesting mineral content, and her supervisor wanted more data. As she walked, she listened to the sounds of the forest. There were birds here, or at least creatures that looked like birds. They made high-pitched sounds that echoed through the trees. There were also insects, tiny things that buzzed around her head but never seemed to bite. For a while, everything was normal. Una reached the rock formation and began her work. She chipped away at the stone, collected her samples, and recorded her findings on her tablet. The work was slow but satisfying. She liked being alone in the forest. It was peaceful. But then something changed. Una did not notice it at first. It was just a feeling, a small whisper in the back of her mind that something was wrong. She stopped what she was doing and looked around. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. The birds had stopped singing. The insects had stopped buzzing. Una stood very still. Her heart began to beat faster. She had read the reports about this planet. She knew that there were predators here, large creatures that hunted in packs. The company had said they were not a threat to humans. They said the predators avoided the areas near the base. But Una was not near the base. She was 2 kilometers away, alone, with nothing but a knife and a bag full of rocks. She heard a sound behind her. It was soft, like something heavy moving through the leaves. Una turned slowly. At first, she saw nothing, just trees and shadows. But then the shadows moved. The creature stepped out from behind a tree. It was unlike anything Una had ever seen. It stood on 4 legs, but its body was long and low to the ground, like a snake with legs. Its skin was dark gray, almost black, and it seemed to absorb the light around it. Its eyes were yellow, bright and sharp, and they were looking directly at her. Una did not move. She did not breathe. She remembered what Taiho had taught her about predators. Do not run. Running triggers the chase instinct. Stand still. Make yourself look big. Do not show fear. But fear was all she felt. The creature moved closer. It was not attacking. It was studying her, watching her with those terrible yellow eyes. Una could see its teeth now, long and curved, designed for tearing flesh. She could see the muscles under its skin, powerful and ready to strike. Then more creatures appeared. They came from all directions, stepping out of the shadows like ghosts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in total, all of them watching her. This was a pack, and she was surrounded. The largest creature, the one that had appeared first, moved even closer. Yuna guessed it was the leader, the Alpha. It was bigger than the others, and the other creatures kept their distance from it, showing respect. The Alpha stopped just a few meters away from Yuna. It lowered its head and opened its mouth. But it did not bite her. Instead, it breathed on her. A cloud of mist came from its throat and covered Yuna's body. The mist was cold and had a strange smell, like metal and flowers mixed together. Yuna did not understand what was happening. She just stood there, frozen, as the mist settled on her clothes and skin. The Alpha looked at her one more time. Then it turned and walked away. The other creatures followed, disappearing back into the shadows as silently as they had come. Yuna waited for a long time. She waited until her legs stopped shaking and her heart stopped racing. Then she grabbed her bag and ran. She ran all the way back to the base. She did not stop, did not look back, did not slow down. She just ran. When she reached the gate, she collapsed on the ground, gasping for air. The guards saw her and came running. They helped her up and brought her inside. "What happened?" one of them asked. "Are you hurt?" Yuna shook her head. "No," she said. "I am not hurt. But something is wrong. Something is very wrong." She did not know how right she was. She did not know that the mist the Alpha had breathed on her was a mark. She did not know that among these predators, marking prey was a ritual. It was a promise. It meant that the hunt would begin soon, and it would not end until the prey was dead. She did not know that no creature on Korra 7 had ever survived after being marked. But she would learn, and when she did, she would show these predators something they had never seen before. She would show them what humans do when they are hunted. Taiho was in the security room when he heard the alarm. Someone had triggered the emergency signal at the main gate. He was on his feet before the second beep, running through the corridors of the base with his hand on his weapon. When he reached the gate, his heart nearly stopped. His sister was on the ground, surrounded by guards, her face pale and her clothes covered in some kind of strange residue. For one terrible moment, he thought she was dead. "Yuna!" he shouted, pushing through the guards to reach her. She looked up at him with wide eyes. "Taiho," she said, "I am okay. I am not hurt." But Taiho could see that something was wrong. He had seen that look before, on the faces of soldiers who had survived something terrible. It was the look of someone who had stared death in the eyes and somehow walked away. He helped her stand and led her inside. The other guards followed, asking questions, but Taiho ignored them. Right now, his only concern was his sister. They went to the medical bay first. The doctor, a calm woman named Hana, examined Yuna carefully. She checked for wounds, for broken bones, for any sign of injury. She found nothing. "You seem fine physically," Hana said, "but tell me what happened." So Yuna told them. She described the creatures, the way they had surrounded her, the way the largest one had breathed that strange mist onto her body. As she spoke, Taiho felt a cold fear growing in his chest. He had heard stories about these predators. He had read reports that most people on this mission had never seen. When Yuna finished her story, there was silence in the room. Hana looked confused, but Taiho looked worried. "Can I see your jacket?" he asked. Yuna took off her jacket and handed it to him. Taiho held it up to the light and examined it closely. There on the fabric he could see a faint glow. It was very weak, almost invisible, but it was there. A pale green shimmer that seemed to come from inside the material itself. "What is that?" Yuna asked. Taiho did not answer right away. He walked to the corner of the room where a small scanner sat on a table. He placed the jacket under the scanner and turned it on. Numbers and graphs appeared on the screen, showing the chemical composition of the substance on the jacket. He studied the results for a long time. Then he closed his eyes and let out a slow breath. "Taiho," Yuna said, "you are scaring me. What is going on?" He turned to face her. His expression was serious, more serious than she had ever seen it. "Do you remember when I first arrived here?" he said. "I spent 3 days reading every report the company had about this planet. Most of it was boring stuff about weather and geology. But there was one file that was different. It was classified. I should not have had access to it, but I found a way." "What was in the file?" Hana asked. "Information about the predators," Taiho said. "The ones you saw today, Yuna. They are called shadow hunters by the first survey team. They are the most dangerous creatures on this planet. They are smart, fast, and they work together like a military unit." "The company said they were not dangerous to humans," Yuna said. "The company lied," Taiho replied. "Or maybe they just did not know. The first survey team lost 4 people to these creatures. The company covered it up because they did not want to scare away workers." Yuna felt sick. She had been walking in that forest for 3 months, believing it was safe. She had been alone out there every single day, while these monsters watched her from the shadows. "But they did not attack me," she said. "They just breathed on me and left." Taiho nodded slowly. "That is the part that worries me the most." He pointed at the scanner screen. "The substance on your jacket is a pheromone compound. It is a chemical marker. According to the classified report, these predators mark their prey before they hunt it." "Mark their prey?" Yuna repeated. "It is part of their hunting ritual," Taiho explained. "They find a target, mark it with this scent, and then wait. The scent attracts other pack members from far away. It is like sending a signal. When enough hunters have gathered, they begin the real hunt." The room was very quiet. Yuna could hear her own heartbeat. "How long?" she asked. "How long do they wait?" "According to the report, about 1 day. Sometimes less. 1 day." Yuna had less than 1 day before a pack of deadly predators came to kill her. She looked at her hands. They were shaking. "We need to leave," Hana said. "We need to evacuate the base." "We cannot," Taiho said. "The next transport ship does not arrive for 2 weeks. We have no way off this planet." "Then we hide," Hana suggested. "We seal the base, stay inside, wait for them to leave." Taiho shook his head. "That will not work either. According to the report, once prey is marked, the pack will not stop until it is dead. They will follow the scent anywhere. They will wait outside for days, weeks, however long it takes, and our supplies will run out long before their patience does." "So what do we do?" Yuna asked. Her voice was steady now. The fear was still there, but something else was growing alongside it. Something harder, sharper. Taiho looked at his sister. He saw the change in her eyes. He recognized it because he had felt it himself, many times, on many battlefields. It was the moment when fear turned into something else, when running stopped being an option. "The report mentioned one more thing," he said. "In all the recorded encounters with these predators, no marked prey has ever survived. Not one. The creatures have a perfect record." "That does not help," Hana said. "No," Taiho agreed. "But it tells us something important. It tells us that no one has ever fought back. Every marked creature ran, every marked creature hid, and every marked creature died." He looked around the room. His eyes were bright, alive with something that looked almost like excitement. "But we are not creatures. We are humans, and humans do not run." Yuna stood up. Her legs were no longer shaking. "What are you thinking?" "I am thinking that these predators have never hunted anything like us before," Taiho said. "They expect their prey to be afraid. They expect their prey to flee. What they do not expect is for their prey to fight, to plan, to prepare." You want to fight them? Hana asked. She sounded shocked. I want to survive, Taiho said. And the only way to survive is to show these creatures that marking a human was the worst mistake they ever made. He turned to the door. I need to talk to the others, everyone on this base. We have 1 day to prepare, 1 day to change from prey into something else. Into what? Yuna asked. Taiho smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a soldier who had finally found his battlefield. Into predators, he said. Tonight, we hunt the hunters. The meeting room was crowded. Every person on the base was there, sitting in chairs or standing against the walls. There were 32 people in total: scientists, engineers, workers, and a small security team. They all looked confused and worried. They had heard that something had happened to Yuna, but they did not know the details. Taiho stood at the front of the room. He looked at all of them, these ordinary people who had come to this planet to do their jobs. They were not soldiers. They were not fighters. But they were humans, and that meant something. He told them everything. He told them about the predators, about the mark, about what the classified report had said. He did not hide anything. He did not try to make it sound better than it was. When he finished, the room was silent. Then a man named Jinsu spoke. He was an engineer, tall and thin, with glasses and a nervous habit of tapping his fingers on tables. Are you saying we are all going to die? He asked. I am saying that if we do nothing, yes, we will probably die, Taiho answered. But I am also saying that we have a chance, a real chance, if we work together. How? A woman named Minji asked. She was a biologist who studied the plants of Cora 7. She was small but had sharp eyes that missed nothing. We are not fighters. Most of us have never even held a weapon. That is true, Taiho said, but we have something these predators have never faced before. We have human intelligence. We can think, plan, and create. We can build traps, make weapons, and work together in ways these creatures cannot understand. He walked to a large screen on the wall and turned it on. An image appeared showing the area around the base. The forest stretched in all directions, dark and thick. Here is what we know about these predators, Taiho said. They hunt in packs, usually 6 to 10 members. They use the marked scent to track their prey. They attack at dawn when their prey is tired and less alert, and they always come from multiple directions at once. That sounds very bad, Jinsu said. It is bad, Taiho agreed, but it also tells us how to fight them. They expect their prey to run or hide. They do not expect their prey to know they are coming. They do not expect their prey to be ready. He pointed at the screen. We have about 16 hours before dawn. In that time, we need to do 3 things. First, we need to understand these creatures better. Second, we need to prepare our defenses. Third, we need to choose who will fight. Who will fight? Someone asked from the back of the room. Should we not all fight? Taiho shook his head. No, some of you have skills that are more useful in other ways. And some of you, he paused. Some of you have children back on Earth. Families waiting for you. I will not force anyone to risk their life. The room was quiet again. Then Yuna stepped forward. She had been sitting in the corner listening. Now she walked to the front and stood beside her brother. I was the one they marked, she said. This is my fight. I will not hide while others die for me. You do not have to prove anything, Taiho said softly. I am not proving anything, Yuna replied. I am choosing. This is my choice. She turned to face the room. My brother is right. We cannot force anyone to fight, but I am asking you. Whoever is willing, whoever is able, please stand with us. Not because you have to, but because this is who we are. Humans do not give up. Humans do not surrender. When something threatens us, we fight. We have always fought. It is in our blood. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Minji stood up. The small biologist walked to the front and stood beside Yuna. "I study life," she said. "I would like to keep living." Next came Jinsu. His hands were still shaking, but his voice was steady. "I build things," he said. "Let me build something that kills these monsters." One by one, others stood. A security guard named Do-hyun, who had served in the military like Tai-ho, a mechanic named Su-jin, who could fix anything with enough time and parts, a doctor's assistant named Eunji, who knew how to treat wounds. In the end, 5 people stood at the front, ready to fight. The others would help in different ways. Some would prepare the base's defenses. Some would monitor the cameras and sensors. Some would be ready to provide medical care. "Thank you," Tai-ho said. "All of you. Now let us get to work." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Everyone had a job to do, and no one wasted time. Minji searched the base's database for everything about the predator's biology. She found that their skin was tough, but not impossible to cut. Their eyes were sensitive to bright light. Their sense of smell was their strongest sense, and they relied on it heavily during the hunt. Jinsu worked in the machine shop, building weapons. They did not have guns that could pierce the creature's hide, but they had other things. Electric batons that could shock, spears with heated tips that could burn, cages made of wire that could trap, and lights, lots of lights, bright enough to blind. Sujin rigged the perimeter with traps, motion sensors connected to alarms, pits covered with thin material that would collapse under weight, wires stretched at ankle height that would trip anything that ran through them. She worked fast and smart, turning the area around the base into a maze of dangers. Do-hyun trained the fighters. He showed them how to hold their weapons, how to stand, how to move. He taught them the most important lesson of all: stay together, watch each other's backs, never fight alone. And Yuna prepared herself. She knew that the creatures had marked her. She knew that they would come for her specifically, so she made a decision. She would not hide in the middle of the group. She would stand at the front. She would be the bait. Tai-ho did not like this plan. "You are my sister," he said. "I cannot let you put yourself in danger like this." "You cannot stop me," Yuna replied. "Besides, it makes sense. They will smell me first. They will come toward me first. If I am at the front, we control where they attack. We can lead them into our traps." Tai-ho wanted to argue, but he knew she was right. The mark was on her. The creatures would follow that scent no matter where she was. Better to use that against them. "Fine," he said, "but I will be right beside you. The whole time." Yuna smiled. "I would not have it any other way." As the hours passed, the base transformed. What had been a simple research station became a fortress. Lights were installed everywhere, ready to flash at a moment's notice. Weapons were distributed to everyone. Traps were set and tested. When the sun began to set on Korra 7, turning the purple sky dark, the humans were ready. They gathered one last time in the meeting room. Tai-ho looked at their faces. He saw fear, yes, but he also saw determination. He saw people who had decided they would not die quietly. "In a few hours they will come," he said. "They will expect us to be afraid. They will expect us to run. They will expect to win easily like they always have." He picked up a spear and held it in his hands. The tip glowed red with heat. "Let us show them how wrong they are." The night was long and cold. The humans waited in silence, watching the darkness beyond the base's lights. Every shadow looked like a creature. Every sound made their hearts jump. But they stayed in position. They did not break. Yuna stood near the main gate, exactly where they had planned. Tai-ho was on her right, holding his spear. Do-hyun was on her left, with an electric baton in each hand. Behind them, the others waited at their assigned positions, ready to support. The cameras showed nothing. The sensors detected no movement. For hours, it seemed like the attack might never come. Then, just as the first light of dawn touched the horizon, everything changed. The alarm sounded. A motion sensor on the east side of the base had been triggered. Then another on the west. Then 3 more on the south. The predators had arrived, and they were coming from all directions at once. "Lights!" Taiho shouted. Every light on the base flashed on at full power. The darkness disappeared in an instant, replaced by blinding white brightness. From somewhere in the forest, there was a sound like screaming. The creatures had not expected this. Their sensitive eyes burned with pain. But they did not retreat. They kept coming. Yuna saw the first one emerge from the tree line. It was huge, even bigger than the alpha she had seen yesterday. Its eyes were squeezed shut against the light, but it still moved forward, following her scent. Behind it came more creatures, 6, 7, 8 of them. The pack had grown since yesterday. More hunters had answered the call. "Hold your positions," Taiho ordered. "Let them come to us." The creatures ran toward the base. The first one hit the tripwire that Sujin had installed. It stumbled and fell, crashing into the ground. Before it could stand, 2 more creatures tripped over it. They tumbled together in a mass of teeth and claws. But the others kept coming. They learned from the first one's mistake and jumped over the wires. They were fast, so incredibly fast. Within seconds, they were at the edge of the base's perimeter. The first creature reached one of the covered pits and fell through. It dropped 3 meters into a hole lined with sharp metal spikes. The sound it made was terrible, a high-pitched scream of pain that echoed through the dawn. 2 more creatures fell into other pits, but the rest of the pack was too smart. They saw their pack members disappear and change direction. They found paths around the traps, moving with a coordination that was almost beautiful if it was not so deadly. "They are adapting," Minji said through the radio. She was watching from the command center, tracking the creatures' movements on the cameras. "They are learning our traps." "Then we adapt too," Taiho replied. He gripped his spear tighter. "Everyone, prepare for close combat!" The first creature reached the gate. It was the large one, the one that had not fallen into any trap. Up close, it was even more terrifying. Its body was covered in scars from old battles. Its teeth were yellow and sharp. Its claws dug into the ground as it prepared to leap. Yuna stepped forward. She was scared, more scared than she had ever been in her life. But she did not run. She held her weapon, a long metal pole with a heated tip, and waited. The creature jumped. Yuna moved at the same moment. She ducked under its body and thrust her weapon upward. The heated tip pierced the creature's belly, and it screamed in pain. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. The creature crashed behind her, wounded but not dead. Before it could recover, Taiho was there. His spear found its throat and ended its life. There was no time to celebrate. More creatures were coming. 2 attacked Do-hyun at once. He met them with his electric batons, shocking one in the face and driving the other back. But a third creature came from the side and knocked him down. "Do-hyun!" Yunji screamed. She ran forward with a medical kit, but she could not reach him. The creature was on top of him, its jaws snapping at his face. Jinsu appeared from nowhere. The engineer was carrying a device he had built, a crude flamethrower made from spare parts. He pointed it at the creature and pressed the trigger. A stream of fire hit the creature's back. It howled and ran away, its body burning. Do-hyun stood up. His arm was bleeding, but he was alive. "Thanks," he said to Jinsu. "Thank me later," Jinsu replied. "More are coming." He was right. The remaining creatures had regrouped. There were still 5 of them, and they were circling the humans now, looking for weakness. Their eyes had adjusted to the lights. Their movements were careful and calculated. The alpha was among them. Yuna recognized it immediately. It was the one that had marked her in the forest. It was watching her with those terrible yellow eyes, and she could feel its hatred across the distance between them. "The alpha," she said. "It is the leader. If we kill it, the others might run. Or they might fight harder," Taiho warned. "It is a risk we have to take," Yuna said. "We cannot beat all of them in a long fight. We are too tired, and some of us are wounded." Taiho looked at his sister. He saw the determination in her eyes. He knew that look. She had made up her mind. "All right," he said. "Let us kill the Alpha." They moved together, brother and sister, advancing toward the creatures. The other humans spread out behind them, forming a half-circle. They would keep the other creatures busy, while Yuna and Taiho went for the leader. The Alpha saw them coming. It did not run. Instead, it stepped forward to meet them. Perhaps it wanted revenge for the mark that had failed to kill. Perhaps it simply wanted to prove its dominance. Either way, it was ready to fight. Taiho attacked first. He thrust his spear at the Alpha's chest. The creature dodged, faster than anything that size should be able to move. Its claws slashed at Taiho's arm, cutting through his sleeve and drawing blood. Yuna attacked while the creature was focused on her brother. She swung her weapon at its head. The heated tip left a burn across its face, and the Alpha screamed in rage. It turned on her. Its jaws opened wide, revealing rows of teeth that could tear through metal. It lunged. Yuna did not dodge. She braced herself and thrust her weapon straight into the creature's open mouth. The heated tip went through the back of its throat and out the other side. The Alpha stopped. Its eyes went wide with surprise. No prey had ever done this before. No prey had ever fought back like this. Yuna looked into its eyes. "You marked me," she said. "You chose me as your prey. That was your mistake." She twisted the weapon. The Alpha shuddered once, twice, and then collapsed. For a moment, everything was still. The other creatures had stopped attacking. They were looking at the Alpha's body, and something like confusion was in their eyes. Then one of them made a sound, a low, mournful cry. The others joined in. Together, they turned and ran, disappearing back into the forest. The humans stood in silence, breathing hard, covered in blood and sweat. They had done it. They had survived. Yuna pulled her weapon from the Alpha's body. Her hands were shaking now, but not from fear, from exhaustion, from relief, from something like triumph. "Is it over?" Yunji asked. Taiho looked at the forest, at the lightening sky, at his sister standing over the body of the creature that had tried to kill her. "Yes," he said. "It is over." The sun rose slowly over Korra 7, painting the purple sky with shades of gold and pink. It was beautiful, more beautiful than any sunrise Yuna had ever seen. Perhaps it was because she had not expected to see another sunrise at all. The base was quiet now. The sounds of battle had faded into memory. The bodies of the creatures had been moved away from the main areas. Some would be studied later. Most would be burned. Yuna sat on a rock near the main gate, watching the forest. Her body ached in places she did not know could ache. Her hands were sore from gripping her weapon. A cut on her forehead had been cleaned and bandaged by Yunji, who had told her she was very lucky. Lucky, that was one word for it. Taiho walked over and sat down beside her. He had bandages on his arm where the Alpha had cut him. He looked tired, older than she had ever seen him look. But there was also something like peace in his eyes. "How are you feeling?" he asked. "I do not know," Yuna admitted. "I am tired. I am sore. But I am also—" She paused, searching for the right word. "Alive. I feel very alive." Taiho nodded. He understood. "That is what battle does to you. It reminds you of what matters." They sat in silence for a while, watching the forest. The trees swayed gently in the morning breeze. Birds were starting to sing again, filling the air with their high-pitched songs. It was as if the forest was waking up from a nightmare. "Do you think they will come back?" Yuna asked. "The predators?" Taiho shook his head. "No, I do not think so. We killed their Alpha. We killed several of their pack members. Whatever remains of the pack will be weak and scattered. It will take them years to recover, if they ever do. But there are other packs on this planet, Yuna said. Other alphas. Other hunters. Yes, Taiho agreed. There are. But word will spread. Among the creatures of this world, there will be a new story. A story about a pack that marked a human and never came back. A story about prey that became hunters. He smiled slightly. Predators are smart. They will learn from this. They will learn that humans are not easy prey. They will learn to stay away. Yuna thought about this. She thought about all the creatures on this planet, all the dangers that they had not even discovered yet. And she thought about the humans who lived here. 32 people trying to build something new on an alien world. We should record everything, she said. Write down what happened, what we learned, how we fought, so that if it ever happens again, people will know what to do. That is a good idea, Taiho said. I will talk to the others about it. He stood up and stretched his sore muscles. For now we should rest. All of us. We earned it. He walked back toward the base. Yuna stayed where she was, still watching the forest. A few minutes later, Minji came to join her. The small biologist sat down on the rock and handed Yuna a cup of hot tea. Yuna took it gratefully, wrapping her cold hands around its warmth. Thank you, she said. Thank you, Minji replied. You saved us all. We all saved each other, Yuna corrected. I could not have done anything alone. Minji nodded. That is true. But you were the one who stood at the front. You were the one who killed the Alpha. That took courage. Yuna thought about this. She did not feel courageous. She felt like someone who had been scared out of her mind and had somehow survived anyway. I was terrified, she admitted. Every moment of it, I thought I was going to die. Everyone was terrified, Minji said. But we fought anyway. That is what courage is, I think. Not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. They drank their tea and watched the forest together. After a while, others came to join them. Jinsu with his nervous hands now steady after the battle, Do-yun with his bandaged arm, Sujin with dirt on her face from checking her traps, Yunji with her medical kit, still ready for any emergency. They sat together in the morning light, survivors of something that should have killed them. They did not talk much. They did not need to. The silence between them was comfortable, filled with shared understanding. Later that day, the news reached the other human settlements on Cora 7. A small research base had been attacked by shadow hunters. The pack had marked a human and come for the kill. And against all odds, the humans had won. The story spread quickly. From settlement to settlement, from ship to ship, from planet to planet. It grew as it traveled, becoming something larger than the events themselves. But at its core, the truth remained. A predator had marked a human as Quarry. The next day, the entire pack was gone. In the years that followed, humans continued to explore Cora 7. They built more bases, studied more creatures, and mined more resources. And wherever they went, the shadow hunters stayed away. The creatures had learned their lesson. They had learned that some prey was not worth the cost. Yuna stayed on the planet for 5 more years. She became famous among the settlers, not because she sought fame, but because her story gave people hope. If one woman could stand against a pack of predators and win, then maybe humans could stand against anything. Taiho stayed by her side, always protective, always watching. He trained the security teams at every settlement, teaching them what he knew about fighting and survival. His lessons saved many lives, and across the galaxy, in the dark spaces between stars, other predators heard the story too. Creatures that had never seen a human, that had never known what humans could do. They heard about a species that did not run, did not hide, did not surrender. A species that looked weak, but fought like nothing else in the universe. Some of those creatures were curious. Some were afraid. Some thought they could succeed where the shadow hunters had failed. They were all wrong, because that is what it means to be human. It means that no matter how dark the night, no matter how strong the enemy, no matter how certain the defeat seems, humans will fight, humans will adapt, humans will survive. And any predator foolish enough to mark a human as quarry will learn the truth. The hunt does not end when you catch a human. The hunt ends when the human catches you. In the empty forest of Cora 7, where a pack of shadow hunters once ruled, there was only silence now. The trees stood tall and still. The wind whispered through the leaves, and somewhere in that silence, the memory of a mistake echoed forever. Never mark a human. Never.